Hi everybody, day 21. I guess some of you will be wondering, is she going to show up? I had to finish with style. So I want to say thank you to everybody who's spoken to me behind the scene, people who have been watching, binging, not commented, not said anything, but have spoken to me. Thank you so much for all the encouragement, for all the people that have been cheering me on to make sure that I actually finished this. And it has been a journey. Day 21. Sometimes you look back and think, can I do it? 21 days seemed a very tall order. But hey, here I am. I did it. So, number one, it tells me that if we put our mind to something, if we decide to do something, we will and we can. So, I think everything starts with the decision to do, the decision to want change. And again, when we make that decision, we need the right tool in order for us to do the right thing. And I feel that self-reflection has been that amazing tool that has given me the opportunity to not just glaze over what has happened so far in 2023, but has given me the opportunity to concentrate. And I have just hit the surface of concentrating. So I've had time to really know what I am reflecting on. I've had time to know what I am, some of the things I know to expect, some of the things that I know to change. But I am going to now spend some real time reflecting on reflection. And I think that in itself is very rewarding because there's been a lot every day to process, to look at. So now the real work starts, knowing what to reflect on, even though I have done, but there is still a deeper work that can be done. And if people are wondering, what is she talking about? I decided 21 days today ago to go on this journey of self-reflection, which meant I was going to look at things in my life that I did over 2023 and take stock. And one of the things that I did mention was we need to celebrate. We need to reflect on what we can and celebrate, because we sometimes tend to look at the things that have worked, that have not worked, as opposed to the things that have worked. So number one, I am applauding myself. And that's not something I do very often. I'm applauding myself for stepping out, stepping up, and doing what I said I was going to do. And I would like us, in our own way, even before we start looking at the things that may not have worked the way we wanted to do, is to celebrate ourselves. Another thing that we did that I spoke about, because I'm not going to go through all of them, but in a nutshell, I talked about the inner self. And the inner self is where all the deep work takes place. And that's where we think about what is driving us, what are our purpose, what is our values, what are our beliefs, what is it that we really wanted to set out to do, what were the decisions that we made, what affirmations are we telling, what are we telling to ourselves, what's the voice that's speaking to us, how do we meditate, how do we really take everything that we have thought about over this last 21 days, 20 days to be precise, in terms of deep thinking, and how many of them have we put into practice. And then we talked about the outer person, the doing. So there's the being and there's the doing. So in terms of the doing, it's now looking at what are the things that we did, and we talked about planning. We talked about strategy, we talked about the things that we are actually good. And then we finished it off by talking about finance. What is the state of our finance? What does that look like? So every day for 20 days, there's a lot of videos for you to catch up with if you want to find out what has Omosola been talking about. And I said today that I was going to tell you a little bit about myself. What was the reason why? Why am I doing this? What's the drive behind this? I will just do a little bit, because later I'm going to do a fuller live that will be more engaging. I also wanted to end up this part of it by saying that I'm going to end off with how I started. And I started by telling us to get ready, to be prepared, to have our pen, to have our paper, to have whatever it is that we will use as a tool, because whatever we have in our head stays in our head. It doesn't really become a reality until we put it onto paper. Hi, thanks for joining. Yeah, so I have been really recapping on what I have done. Today is day 21 and I am celebrating. I'm applauding myself. I'm saying well done. And I would like you to applaud yourself for showing up, for the number of days that you've shown up, the number of days you've listened to what has been said before that you should. One of the things I did talk about is celebrating yourself. And I did say that now is the time to do the real work. And that's why I started in November. We've got December and I have something planned, but whilst I'm still working on it, I'll keep that under wraps, but I will be sharing that because over the next week, I am going to go away and actually listen to my videos again, giving myself the opportunity to digest what I have said to myself and really now reflect on it and say, it's time to do. I now know what to do. I now know what to reflect on. It is now time to do a deeper reflection. And I say that to you even as we approach December, which is this week. I can't believe it. So we have that opportunity now to really laser focus and choose some of the things. Some of the things we will go, yeah, I've done this, I've done that, we might have one. But there are one or two that we might go, do you know what? I really, really need to dig deeper into this. So my encouragement to myself and to you is over the next, starting from tomorrow, because sometimes what we don't practice, we lose, is to take time now to say, I actually know what to reflect on. It's now time to start reflecting on those things and putting them down. And then maybe there's going to be either towards somewhere in December, I will be having another form of conversation to say, let's reflect on reflection. What happened when we reflected? What were the outcomes that we came up with? And I said, I'm going to finish with this by saying, who am I and why am I doing this? What's the drive behind this? I consider myself under 3 platforms. I consider myself a builder, I consider myself a creative, and I consider myself a dreamer. So the creative hat that I wear, which is almost the Moses work, my tool that I use is that I am gifted with my hands. And again, I talked about passion. What are you gifted at? And my passion is really for women who want to say, do you know what? I love what I do. I enjoy what I do. I have worked this number of years, but there's this thing I'm passionate about. And I think it's time for me to ignite that fire and start doing that. And that is where my coaching as a transition coach comes into play. So I help people transition from where they are, from their profession into their passion, and create business opportunities that people might still remain relevant. And believe it or not, I'm at that space where people need or want to retire or start thinking about retiring and going, it is time for me to start thinking about it. And with the society that we're living in right now, they keep on moving the goalpost. Before you know it, you'll be mandatorily working till 70, 75. If you don't have if that's where you want to be and you're happy there, then let's put some systems in place that makes it enjoyable to the end. And if you're saying, do you know what, I have served my time in that profession, I love it, I've done it, I've enjoyed it, I've embraced it, but now I want to go back to something that I know I have. And it's about looking at what you have, even in your profession, and looking at how you can transition that into what you're passionate about. Because sometimes both of them we might not be able to connect the dots. But with what I do and with what I teach, I'm able to look at what you're doing now. So whether you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you're an accountant, whatever it is that you're doing right now, there are amazing skills, number one, that you can take from what you do right now. And it's just about thinking, what are the things I really want to do right now, even in my profession, that I can't do because I am not in control? What are the gaps that you see already right now that you're thinking, this is a gap that I can transition into and become the authority that I want to be in my own niche. I mean, I'm loving the creative. I love to teach. I love to train. And there are things that I have been constrained, and I have been teaching business. I've been teaching business to skills to people who are actually core skills. I've been teaching balloon display, I've been teaching cake decorating, I've been teaching fashion design, I've been teaching soft furnishing, and I've been teaching different kinds of crafts on the business platform. How do you transform that? And I do have a great track record. I've also worked in the educational setting where I have actually built a business from ground up. So I actually understand the frustrations, I understand the challenges that we face in order to build the business. So all these skills, both academic skills that I have, as in my BA in business management, my master's in coaching, my other degree in lifelong learning, all of this are tools. And you know what? You don't have to go and do another 10 years because you can glean off the bits that are tangible, that are relevant to what you need, and you can come with me on that journey where we do have that conversation of how do I move from where I am to where I really, really want to be? Or how do I make my 2024 a different year for me? A year that 2023 was, 2023 wasn't, but I also feel that I can do a better job in 2024. So as I said, it's about taking stock, and that's where I am coming from. There's a lot about me. As I said, I'm a creative, I'm a builder. I love to build people. I love to build creative stuff, and it all stems from that. And at the same time, I'm a dreamer. I have a dream to see professionals take their dreams to where they want to be able to see, continue, because that's what I've done. I've worked in adult education for 17 years. So I do carry a lot of experience behind me. But hey, I say that just for people to have an understanding. Because yeah, this woman is talking about reflection. So what gives her the right, or what gives her that space to think that she knows what she's talking about? So that's why I share a little bit about me and what I am passionate about and what qualifies me, because not only do I have the academics, I also have the hands-on. So if you, as you will also have a passion, as you will also have a desire, it starts with self-reflecting, because when we know what we have, we can transition into where we want to go. So my charge to myself, because we all are growing, no matter where we are, there is always room for the next level. So my charge to myself is to see, where do I want to be at the end of 2024? And I'll be talking about that and sharing some of that as we reflect on reflection. But I'm going to give us a whole week to reflect on what has been done, and let's see where we've come from. And I'm going to be using myself as a case study. And if you need inspiration, as I've said, I do my radio show every Tuesday where I have guests. I've been doing throwbacks because you can never, every time you listen to a program, there's always something new. There's always something fresh. So I've been listening to them over again. So every Tuesdays and Fridays are my throwback sessions for now. And there are more on Spotify where you can glean off other people who have been able to take their profession into their passion, and there's so much that we can glean off them. So I hope that you've enjoyed the 21-day challenge journey as much as I have, because I called it a journey. It started as a journey, but it became a challenge because it absolutely stretched me. And I'm hoping that as we journey on this reflection, that it will unlock things that we never even thought we had, because taking stock is key. So for me, as I call myself, the business, because I really keep it as a transition and transform coach, it is bye for now. Thank you so much for taking this journey with me, and I'm hoping you've got some value that you can use to change, to transform, and to make a difference to one's life as well as those that are around you as we enter into 2024. So until a week and a bit, I'm going away to laser focus, and I'm hoping you're going to do the same. And then we can catch up somewhere after that. So bye for now, and thank you for joining.